Pleasure to be able to welcome all of you here for the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series, New York.
Let's hear it from you, New York!
Ripping them over. I don't know how they're going to start a race here.
Emirates Team New Zealand gets to the inside. Were they over early? Yes, they've got to slow down. New Zealand was over. All of the teams, it's like a restart in the race. They're all slow. They're all bows up into the current. It's New Zealand who's got the puff, coming from behind. Remember, they started last. Look at them go, folks, towering over the entire fleet up on the foil. Emirates Team New Zealand wins the final race, and with that, it looks as though they'll take the entire regatta.
For the first race, the course was set long, with fresh breezes expected to get the boats around in quick time. But on the first leg after the start, some of the front runners discovered quickly the wind was anything but consistent. Artemis Racing breaking away, while on the other side of the course, Emirates Team New Zealand and Land Rover BAR read out a puff. Artemis Racing is suddenly free of the chasing pack, streaking out to a huge lead. And that's the way it stayed. The Swedish team first across the line, while Sir Ben Ainsley's British team just claimed second ahead of the Kiwis. Race 2 started on a course that had been shortened to suit the unstable breeze. Artemis Racing were again sailing aggressively, but they paid a big price, penalized for failing to keep clear of Land Rover BAR. Neither team would recover, while the Groupama Team France got the jump, sailing away for a morale-boosting win in race number 2. Race 3 started disastrously for Emirates Team New Zealand, their boat snagging on the start line buoy. They looked to be well out of the race, but Lady Luck delivered them a puff when they needed it most. And they sailed right around the fleet to win the third and final race of the day. Oracle Team USA in second place. But the champagne moment belonged to the Kiwis, their last gas race victory, making them the overall winners of the New York City Regatta.
The 13th edition of the Gastra Palmavela finished in the best possible way on the Bay of Palma, Mallorca, in Spain. The fleet of over 110 vessels from 17 nationalities filled the Bay of Palma in a magnificent sporting spectacle of champions for the 13 participating classes. The Maxi Dutch Lionheart, the British Wally J1, the American T52 Quantum Racing and the Swiss IRC Magic were the winning big boats, confirming the international character of the opening event of the Mediterranean sailing season. In the TP52 division, the final day was marked by a collision between Allegre and Sled, which led to the departure of both boats. Winners for the day were the Italian entry Azzurra, followed by the Russian Browanizek. The overall winner was the American Quantum Racing. In the Wally division, the Wally class kept the excitement going until the end as the fleet went overboard with 4 boats separated by only 3 points in the fight for the title. In the end, J1 won, followed by Ryokan. The Dutch J-class Lionheart won the Maxi division, followed by Rambler and Aragon, who could do little against the Dutch champion.
Welcome to Yachting World's Heavy Weather Seamanship Series, produced in conjunction with Pantaenius Insurance. We're heading out into a big breeze today, 35, possibly 40 knots. So we're looking at storm cells. It's the fourth reef versus trysail issue, and using your staysail as a storm jib.
Well, the wind's come up here and we're going to do a little demonstration of putting a trysail up. We have 3 reefs in the main and a staysail, blowing about 30. It's already getting top end for this sail plan. So we're going to drop the main, lash it up, bring out the storm trysail and rig it and just see how this whole thing works. As soon as we get that sail tie on there, we'll get the trysail on deck. Now this is a real game for about 5 people here. Imagine doing this 2 or alone. I'll do the sheets if you guys get it on stacked up on the track.
The trysail is a small emergency mainsail, loose-footed, with 2 sheets that run back to the aft quarter.
Now I'm going to throw, Elaine, I'm going to throw you the sheet over the top of the boom, and you're going to run that back to that snatch block.
The first thing we have to do is rig the sheets. The leeward one has to go up and over the boom, and this is what I'm doing here.
I'll go up and do the halyard. No, tagline's going to go through that snatch block and up to the winch on the mast.
The next step is to attach the halyard. To do that, I have to climb up on the boom and unshackle the halyard from the mainsail and attach it to the head of the trysail. We've got a dedicated trysail track alongside the main mast track. If you don't have one, you would have to unload the mainsail sliders from the mast track and use that, which is an enormous amount of work in an awkward position.
Okay, Bertie, get ready to take the halyard slack up. Okay, let that go, David, let it go. You want to help Bertie on the halyard now?
I'm holding the halyard here until they're ready to hoist, as it's important to prevent a loose halyard wrapping around the spreaders. Even though the sail is small, it can be hard to hoist because a strong wind here is pressing it against the boom.
Okay.
Here you see the tack of the sail with a tack line attached to the base of the mast, so the trysail can be set and fly above the stacked mainsail.
Okay, Elaine, take in your sheet a bit. Well, there it is. Looks like it needs to go to the laundry. It hasn't seen the light of day in God knows how many years. Well, we're sailing quite happily with the trysail, but it came at a cost. With 6 people to do the maneuver, and it took 25 minutes. So it was a bit of a mission. And as I said before, we're in flat water here between the islands as a demonstration. You wouldn't do this if you had to here. But if you were offshore in big sea, you could imagine what it would be like. All sorts of mistakes made. Nobody's really practiced enough at this type of thing. It's one of those things that I'm not keen on, and I've got a better system. I'm going to show you now how to do it. Okay, and the alternative to this trysail story is very simple. You have your sailmaker put in a 4th reef. A 3rd reef is hugely too big on most sails, overpowered in 25 to 30 knots generally, so a 4th reef is a simple solution to get the same area roughly as a trysail. And now we're going to see how long that takes. It's actually quite a simple exercise, like taking any other reef. Okay, we're going to, is everybody ready? Bertie's ready at the mast. Dave on the clew line, I'm on the halyard. Okay? Okay, halyard coming down.
What you want to do is bring the sail down by lowering the halyard and taking it on the reef line at the same rate. That should prevent the sail from flogging and the reefing lines getting tangled.
Okay.
As you see, that was easy. From leaving the cockpit to sheeting on, it took only a few minutes. Provided you have anticipated and set up for the 4th reef immediately after putting in the 3rd, it is very quick and painless.
Going over 40 knots now. I think it's about time to head for the barn.
We're headed for an anchorage now, but but with a fourth reef and our permanently rigged storm staysail, we could comfortably carry on.
We're here in Hamburg, standing next to Eric Doyle's lovely starboard. It's a great boat because you can race it in light wind, strong wind. It's a man's class because you have to be quite heavy. It's a real classic. It's designed in the beginning of the century, and it is one of the oldest Olympic classes of all times. All the big names in the sailing world raced on this classic boat, and it's just lovely to be out. And even here in Hamburg, on a small lake and with light and shifty winds, you can always race on high level. It's quite physical and hard and stronger breeze. It's very hard for the skipper because we have a big mainsail. The mainsail himself is around 22 square meter. The jib is quite small, so the crew just has to be heavy, not strong, like me. And yeah, the tricky part is that the cockpit is very small. So for the skipper, as you can see here, the distance between the helm and the block is very little. So guys like Mateusz Kuźnierewicz or Xavier Rocha, who are very tall and heavy, for them it's very hard to get through. For the crew, it's a bit bigger because we are usually also bigger, so that's why they left it for us like this. Then we have the backstays. Here that's a kind of tricky part because we're going to bring the mast forward on the downwind. So if you forget the backstays, the mast will break like we saw yesterday. And yeah, and then you hike out here very hard because for the crew it's very difficult because you get a lot of splash into your face. It's an awesome boat, and I hope that everybody has the chance to sail once on a Star.
In the semi-finals of the Star Sailors League City Grand Slam in Hamburg, French duo Xavier Rohart and Pierre-Alexis Ponceau took it to Torben Grail.
The jury taking a while and they've given a penalty.
Grail, perhaps the best all-round sailor on the planet, was mightily ticked off because that was the brilliant Brazilians out of the running for the finals.
Oh my word, that was a cracking start.
This knockout tennis-style format is a thriller. In the four-boat final, seconds after the start, Italians Negri and Lambertenghi were delivered a gust from the gods.
Uber wind shift. That's extraordinary.
Boom! And that was them spat out the back. Żnierewicz and Jitski from Poland were always good here in Hamburg, taking third. Melleby from Norway with Revkin from the USA sailed brilliantly for second, and the top check for $25,000 went to the fiery Frenchman.
Here we go, up they go, and why not?
For us, it has been a great success, for sure. We won the race, so we are really pleased.
Next stop is the SSL Finals in the Bahamas in December. Do tune in for the best sailing format around right now.
IMERYS, streaming it down towards just the top of this low pressure, this storm, which we're heading tonight. Conditions are pretty nuts already. We're just reaching speeds of over 20 knots occasionally now, and it's seriously wet.
Just after the start of the race, Phil Sharp strayed into a restricted area. The race jury penalised him with a 6-hour stop-go penalty. He had to sail to a determined area, pull down his sails, stop for 6 hours, then continue racing.
Après la soirée qui venait clôturer le premier jour de course, réveil en douceur par 16 degrés de latitude sud et 151 degrés de longitude ouest. Livraison à bord des petits déjeuners pour les concurrents de la Tahiti Pearl Regatta au mouillage devant Bora Bora. L'un des multiples charmes de la régate, la plus festive du Pacifique.
On s'amuse, on fait tout ce qu'on aime. On fait de la voile et on fait la fête et on est entre copains, copines et pendant une semaine, c'est les grandes vacances quoi, en fait. C'est que du bonheur.
Côté sport, rien de tel qu'un petit parcours banane pour se mettre en jambes. Dans le décor de Bora Bora, c'est bien connu, la banane a encore plus de goût. Team Lipton Ice Tea avait le privilège d'accueillir à son bord le parrain de la TPR 2016, Billy Besson. Et au terme d'un parcours qui s'est plutôt bien déroulé, quand le champion parle, tout le monde l'écoute.
J'ai l'impression, en fait, au niveau des prises de décision, surtout quand c'est chaud et tout, il faut que y en ait un qui fasse. C'est le tacticien, vous le choisissez, qui vous voulez, quoi. Il y a des moments où c'était un peu, je sentais que c'était un peu tendu, quoi. Et pour détendre juste le truc, c'est juste ces tout petits trucs. Et vous allez voir, après, c'est plus simple et plus facile.
Bon alors, merci Billy. Cool.
On était super content de l'avoir parce que Billy c'est un super marin, c'est un gars du pays, il a tout de suite participé, il a tout de suite été dans le match avec nous, il nous a donné des bons conseils, c'était vraiment super sympa.
L'heure de quitter Bora Bora a sonné pour les concurrents répartis en 3 catégories, Racing, Challenge et Cruising, direction l'île de Taha, où doit être jugée l'arrivée de la 4e course. Comme ce fut le cas la veille sur les 2 courses du jour, Area a largement dominé les débats au classement en temps réel, devançant respectivement le bateau suédois Spirit, barré par Eric Lindgren, et Argo, le Pogo 1250 de Gilles Robert. Teva Plichard revient sur les mérites de l'équipage d'Area.
Ce sont des copains qui naviguent depuis très longtemps, qui ont un niveau correct, mais il y a des petites choses des fois à travailler, des petites choses à perfectionner, donc c'est ce qu'on fait à chaque navigation, on travaille un petit peu et progresse à une vitesse énorme. D'ailleurs, on gagne, à mon avis aujourd'hui on gagne largement en tant qu'en pensée aussi, c'est qu'ils ont très très bien navigué, donc ouais.
Au programme du dernier jour de régate, les courses 5 et 6. Au traditionnel parcours banane succédera le tour de l'île de Taha, véritable apothéose de cette Tahiti Pearl Regatta 2016.